It's 5 o'clock in Pirate Country, and it's time to get pumped up with the P-Man. Hit the door and hit the road. 94.3 The Game is going to get you home, and the P-Man's not holding back.
Yes! Yes! Pirates win! Pirates win!
Bring on the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Holy mackerel! Oh, my goodness!
The flagship station of the ECU Pirates.
Well, hello, everybody. Thanks for being with us. If you're with us here on our morning video stream, great to have you along. If you're with us on the radio side, equally great, if not even greater, to have you along. It is the Patrick Johnson Show. We are less than 48 hours away from our coverage beginning and from kickoff of East Carolina and Michigan, number 2 in the land, from the Big House in Ann Arbor. And we're looking forward to another season of Busch Light Pirate Game Day Countdown. This is a tradition that dates back to 1989. Pilk, I was even young in 1989. The great Philip the Ref Pilkington producing today's show. I know you can't believe it. I wasn't hatched like this. I was a kid once, Pilk. Are you buying that?
There was a little PJ one day. I guess I have to buy it because we got to talk to your middle school football coach yesterday. So that means the P-Man was in middle school at one point.
Yeah. The great David Sawyer yesterday with us on the Patrick Johnson Show. It looks like, by and large, we got out of this deal with Idalia in North Carolina pretty clean, particularly in Greenville and particularly in vast parts, I think, down in the Sandhills around Fayetteville and some of those southern and southeastern counties in North Carolina maybe have some problems. And I know there's a little bit of concern with the high tide coming in earlier this morning, that, maybe there might be a little bit of flooding due to that. But by and large, everything turned out pretty well. So we're all happy for that. And now we get ready for the month of September starting tomorrow, which usually possesses our peak in hurricane season. So it's one of the facts of life in living in eastern North Carolina, but it is what it is. Okay, on the show today, Jim Szoke with the Panthers Radio Network and the interim 2023 voice of Pirate football. You'll hear Szoke this weekend along with Andrew Bays, Macy O'Donnell, David Horn, Philip the Ref Pilkington on the ECU Sports Network coverage of Pirate football. And they'll take the air on 107.9 WNCT and the stations up and down the network dial at 11 a.m. We'll be on the air at 9 a.m. with the Busch Light Pirate Game Day Countdown. And we'll have contributions on that from Dom Kasolki and Philip the Ref Pilkington. We'll also have, during that particular broadcast, yours truly in the host chair. We'll have the great Terrence Copper back with us, NFL veteran, Pirate football legend, as the great Ben Byram dubbed him, and Washington Pan Pack all-timer, legend in Washington. And Joe Sampson will be with us this year on our coverage. Looking forward to having Joe. He's done great work on Hoist the Colors. Tomorrow on the Patrick Johnson Show, we mentioned Andrew Bays. He'll be with us. So we'll be back at 10 in the morning tomorrow on the video feed. Bays will join us. We'll hear from Coach Houston. May even play a little Hold My Beer tomorrow. Maybe.
I'm hoping we do. I've got one this week. I need to play Hold My Beer this week.
Okay, we'll do it. And hopefully we'll keep Bays maybe for an extra segment, and he'll do that. How's that sound, Pilk?
Sounds
sound
great.
Pretty good to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm in.
We'll consider doing it. Rose football moved from tonight to tomorrow. I think a lot of the Thursday games that were scheduled for tonight in advance of the Labor Day weekend have been moved. When did this become a thing? I know it started kind of up in the triangle within the last decade, but now everybody else is doing it where you play the Thursday before Labor Day. I'm not here for that, Pilk, with high school football. Am I wrong on that?
No, I'm with you. I mean, it makes the JV kids play Wednesday. It's just weird. It kind of makes you have not 2 full days of practice because now your Thursday practice, your walkthrough gets moved to Wednesday for varsity. And yeah, it just throws a kink in the week. I don't really like it. I was fortunate enough we did not have any scheduled Thursday games in my time playing varsity football. So it's definitely something that is new.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if we did. I'm sure we did played on a Thursday or ended up playing on a, I remember some high school games on Saturday when the Patriots of Parrott Academy once upon a time won the first 8-man football state championship in 1990. That was on a Saturday. I remember that very well. And I was a kid then too, Pilk. And so, that is, but Thursday, I'm just not down with the Thursday game. Last year on TV for the package of Friday Night Rivals, we did a Thursday game because of that. And then I, like a dummy, did a Friday game on radio last year because I can't say no. I have to hear the sound of my own voice, as you know, Pilkington. So we've got tomorrow, 6 o'clock will be on Andrew Bays. But then on Friday at 5, in our normal radio slot, we've got the one and only, the great Steve Logan. Pilk, you guys are tomorrow ought to be your bailiwick. Second week, any kinks have been worked out. You got the Blues queued up. So tomorrow at 5, it's going to be a big-time deal, I have to imagine.
Yeah,
with Coach Logan.
Yeah, for sure. And there were no kinks on Coach's end. It was all my end. So that little speech you just gave was 100% directed at me, and I don't want to run any more gassers. I had some gassers for him in the parking lot after the first show.
That was pretty tough, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a long time since I've done a gasser, man. Long time since senior year of high school.
Logan tomorrow. Well, let's kind of give you the lineup for the for Friday and game day and all of that again, in case you're just joining us here on the Patrick Johnson Show. So tomorrow we will have Talk of the Town 7 to 9 and talk a little bit about football here from Coach Houston. Final moments before the team departs. At 10 tomorrow on our video platforms for 94.3, YouTube, X, Twitter, Facebook will be on with the PJ Show. We'll hear from Coach Houston again. We will have Andrew Bays on. We'll play a little Hold My Beer, it looks like, and all of that good stuff tomorrow. At noon, it is Steve and I go with Hoist the Colors. Do we know who Steven's got on the show tomorrow at noon?
Just Joe Sampson. It's going to be me and Joe. It's going to be a little roundtable discussion. Yeah.
Okay, you and Joe back for the roundtable. Okay. And then 5 o'clock, Steve Logan on 94.3. PJ Show at 6 on 94.3 as we'll get slotted in that hour on Fridays during the football season. Was certainly glad to see, as we reported to you yesterday, Holton Ahlers signed with the practice squad with the Seahawks. As Pilk updated you yesterday, Ryan Jones with the Giants. Cornell Powell, J.H. Rose alum and native of Greenville, with the Chiefs still. Played in some NFL games last year, but he's back on the Chiefs practice squad. I would think we'd see Cornell up on the main roster at some point this season. And good to see Isaiah Winstead latch on with the 49ers in their practice squad. I think Isaiah Winstead, maybe in the vein of Cornell Powell's, got an opportunity, Pilk. You know, we'll have an opportunity to kind of stick and be with the franchise a little bit potentially, and could find himself at some point being called up to contribute in a game or two this year. And if not this year, certainly next year. I mean, Cornell's made a pretty good career of taking advantage of his playing time his senior year at Clemson, latched on with the Chiefs. And Cornell's got stuff that a lot of people don't have. He's got Super Bowl rings and national championship rings. So not everybody can say they have that, Pilk.
No, they cannot. I would say very few. I'd like to know the number of players that have won both, because it's got to be a short list. So,
yeah, I mean, it exists and it's out there, but it's not as great as you might think it is. That number. So we'll do a little research on that and pick that up at some point. We're going to hear from the coordinators coming up in our next segment. So stand by for a Pirate Report. And we will hear from Blake Harrell and Donnie Kirkpatrick in that from yesterday. We'll hear from them coming up in a little bit. Matt Corral, as we told you yesterday, speaking of NFL cuts, we're going to talk to Szoke a little bit about this coming up near the bottom of the hour. But, the Corral thing, again, to me is interesting because did we ever find out, did he indeed get signed to the practice squad, Pilk, or is that still – he has to go through the waivers process today before he might find himself signed with the practice squad as we're talking here in the morning?
Yeah, because he was actually on contract, and he was not just a, just like an unsigned guy. He does have to go through the full waiver process, and obviously if he clears that, which you never know. I mean, hey, there's a lot of guys, teams know they're 53, but, anything can happen. Then we would think he would come back to the Panthers practice squad. But I don't know exactly how long the waiver process is this week. I think it's slightly different than normal weeks, so maybe we can ask Szoke about that one.
Yeah, we'll get to Szoke coming up in a little bit. Szoke, by the way, spending today in Greenville, and he's going to dinner reportedly tonight with the Big Hen. The Big Hen's popping for dinner tonight. How about that?
I must ask Big Hen if I can tag along to that one.
You need to, right? I mean, you need to. Hey, it is football season, and you can download the new IBX Media app for free right now. Just go to Google Play or the App Store, and that's where you will find the all-new IBX Media app. Just type that in. You'll get this station, 94.3 The Game. You get a live stream, no pre-roll ads. Also, you'll stream our other great stations. Talk 96.3, Marconi finalist for Station of the Year, 103.7 WTIB, 107.9 WNCT, and Oldies 94.1 as well. All streaming on the IBX Media app as you can do that just in time for football season and hear all of our great programming during the week and on game day Saturdays. All right, time out here on the PJ Show for this Thursday, final day of the month. We're taking a quick timeout, and when we return, we're going to have for you, ladies and gentlemen, a Pirate Report. Stay tuned.
R&D Brewing is proud to partner with the ECU Pirates, and now you can enjoy Pirates Brew, the official craft beer of ECU Athletics. Pirates Brew is a carefully curated light beer that embodies the spirit of ECU, a refreshing and easy drinking light beer. Pirates Brew by R&D Brewing is available now at grocery stores, local retailers, and at ECU athletic events.
Head over to your favorite store and enjoy a nice Pirates Brew today, or else you'll walk the plank. Hand me another Pirates Brew.
Fifth Street Hardware is the home of the $9 lunch special Tuesday through Fridays. $9 specials every day, including the famous Burger Day on Tuesdays, Flatbread Pizza Wednesday, the famous Fifth Street Hardware Reuben on Thursday, and fried fish or shrimp on Friday. Plus trivia on Wednesday nights and live music every Thursday nights. And the Prime Rib Brunch Buffet has returned on Sundays. You heard that right. The Brunch Buffet with all the great items, including prime rib. Fifth Street Hardware in downtown Greenville.
Storm season is approaching. North Carolina weather can damage your roof, and before long, a small leak can turn into a big problem. Your home is one of your biggest investments, so protect it with Wells Home Improvements.
We work with all insurance companies for a hassle-free roof installation experience. Call us today and get 10% off your roof installation when you mention this commercial.
252-227-8403 or visit us online at wellshomeimprovements.com. Wells Home Improvements. Local, honest, dependable.
Living easy is the sound of children laughing as you make memories with neighbors and friends. It's the sound of nothing at all. It's the smell of the salt air. Hear the waters against the marsh grass. See the beauty of our coast. Bow Coast, located in Beaufort, North Carolina. Southern Living's best small town.
Just because voice-over IP telephones are the latest technology in the telephone world doesn't mean they're the right choice for you and your business. Whether your internet provider is unable to support a voice-over IP phone system, or you don't have a need for high-tech features and simply want to stick with a traditional system, Spain Telecom is here to help. Spain Telecom offers a variety of services to keep your business connected and competitive. We're confident we can find the right phone system for you and your business, a system that addresses all your communication needs. Looking for a new phone system that won't break the bank? In addition to new systems, Spain Telecom also offers gently used systems that are in great shape and can save you money. No matter your needs, Spain Telecom has a solution for you. Whether it's voice over IP, on-premise systems, new or used, give us a call at 252-353-2006 and let Spain Telecom help you with your communications needs.
We are riding shotgun with you on the drive home.
It's showtime.
This is the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Okay, welcome back in on the Patrick Johnson Show. Monday is Labor Day, but we will be laboring. No holiday here. Steve and Igo will have Hoist the Colors for noon on 94.3 The Game and our streaming video platforms. We will take to the air with the PJ Show on the video platforms at 2, and then replay that for you at 5 o'clock with fresh information. Of course, Pilk will be making sure of that. And then coming up at 6 o'clock on Monday, we'll have Inside Pirate Athletics with Coach Houston. Should be a lot of fun. Steve and I will be back out at Tiebreakers and Bram Anderson there with 3 locations in Pitt County. Okay, so that is the lineup for Monday. Should be a lot of fun. Looking forward to the game and the start of the college football season. A couple teams play tonight in our region. Actually, some lot of interesting games. 4 that I would say that have caught my eye. And again, 2 of them just because they're in state. Elon at Wake Forest isn't going to be much of a game. And then I am a little intrigued by North Carolina State at UConn, although I think the Pack, unless the quarterback situation's a total disaster, should win on the road tonight. I'm anxious to see, not because of the opponent, but, UCF, we're going to see what they're made of here. So they're going to start things anew tonight. And then of course, it's very interesting. Florida going to number 14, Utah. Utah's real physical. Florida, we're going to find out early on in the season. That's a big test for them at 8 o'clock tonight on ESPN. So just some games I'm interested in at least tonight. All right, let's do our Pirate Reporters. We'll hear from the coordinators for ECU on the defensive side, starting with Blake Carroll and Donnie Kirkpatrick on the offensive side.
And now, Patrick Johnson with today's Pirate Report on the flagship station of the ECU Pirates, 94.3 The Game.
Blake Carroll saying that not much will change with Michigan's offensive coordinator out.
Obviously, the new play caller was at ODU, so you go back and look at stuff a little bit in his background. And, I think actually going back to Lenore Ryan days, he was the offensive coordinator at Alderson Broadus. We played back in, I think, 2013. So the history there goes back pretty ways. But I don't think it changes who the players are, who their identity is, or what they really want to do with football.
Kirk Campbell will be the guy calling plays on Saturday. Blake Carroll, when asked about how the clock not stopping on first downs will affect the defense. Great question.
When we get the lead, then that clock just runs as fast as possible, and we play as very few snaps as possible defensively. I think, really the big thing for us defensively we looked at is probably going to take about 5 snaps is what they're estimating average on defensively. So if you're playing an average of 64 snaps, now you're going to play about 59, more than the NFL model. But other than that, the clock still stops inside of 2 minutes, pretty normal there. So you might play a few less snaps a game, but other than that, it's not going to have much impact defensively, how we go about our business or how we maybe call the game or affect things there. Offensively, those guys may look at it differently, but defensively, you just kind of always react to what you get anyways.
Gotcha. All right, more from Blake Harrell. He talks about the team looking forward to this opportunity on Saturday.
I think our whole team does. Our whole team is excited about the opportunity. Obviously, respect our opponents and respect the O-line and the offense and who they are and what they've been able to accomplish. But they're excited for the opportunity to go play against an O-line like that and play against the O-line who's won the top O-line in the nation the last 2 seasons, and certainly got the dudes to do it again. But they're excited for that challenge and see where they're at and see how they match up against those guys. And I think that's across the board, not just their O-line, but Blake Corum, Devontae Edwards, the receivers, all those guys. They're excited to go play against them, the best in the nation. So just see where they're at.
Blake Harrell says that the Pirates can't play Michigan the same way the entire game.
They obviously do a really good job running the football, and got 2 good tailbacks to do that, a good O-line to do that. So we got to have various ways to take care of the run game. And I think, where they get a lot of their running yards, if you go back and watch the tape, is in the second half. They just kind of wear on people and then wear them down in the fourth quarter. You'll see a 10-10 ball game. All of a sudden you look up and it's 31-10. And they just kind of wear on somebody. Somebody misses a gap. And they have the ability to break it out and take it to the house. And so you got to have various weapons to take in. I don't think you can sit there and play them, one way all game, or at least that's not our philosophy right now.
Coach Harrell talked about the experience of his safeties.
Julius Wood and Teagan, both experienced football players, started a bunch of games in Pirate uniforms, and just the way they communicate, the way they run things in the back end, and you kind of look to those guys for their leadership, not only just to get us lined up, communicate back there and kind of run the secondary, but also just when adversity hits, those guys have been through that, and they kind of take charge and take pride of, hey, I've been through this, I've been battle tested, and the other guys feed off that. When Julius Woods rolling, going, and Teagan Wilkes, on his game, it kind of feeds, and I think you see the other 11 guys. And you see that up front too. Those front 4 have had that same experience. They've been battle tested. They played in big ball games, and it's the same deal. They're going to recall all those experiences to pull back from.
All right. Final one here from Blake Harrell. He talked about the communication between the players and the coaches.
We always ask those guys, what do you feel comfortable with? I asked my guys yesterday, like, hey, what's the most comfortable defense? If you had to know, like, here's the one call we can get into, we play any look we see, and they'll give it to you. And I think that's very important as a coach, that you kind of get a feel for their comfort level. Obviously, you're going to put them in the best situation to be successful. But if they don't feel comfortable in it, there's probably a reason why.
All right, time to hear from Donnie Kirkpatrick, Pirate offensive coordinator, and he asked what are his big concerns when dealing with the Michigan Wolverines.
They got really good players. Defensively, I think they gave up 16 points a game last year. Now, that was last year's team, I get that, but they got most of them returning. They did lose some players, but, programs like that, they just reload. I think they've lost, 3 games in 2 years or something like that, so they're used to winning. They're used to having success. That means that they're recruiting well.
Also, we are hearing from Donnie K on Michigan not having a lot of film, any to speak of really, on the Pirate quarterbacks. Is there any advantage?
Well, they haven't, and so that, I guess that's something maybe they're trying to research. I don't know that that's a positive for us. That means our guys haven't been playing very much. It's probably better to have experience like that. But, we're looking for every way you can. We're looking for any kind of advantage.
All right, more from Donnie Kirkpatrick, who says that the first game is always a little crazy.
The thing about first games, it's always a little crazy anyhow. You're kind of sparring at the beginning, trying to figure out, is that the same team? Like I say, we opened up with North Carolina State last year. They had been a great defense the year before. We were expecting a really good defense, which they turned out to be. But you're still getting in there trying to figure out, have they stayed with the same scheme? Have they put in new things? Have they moved people around? And usually they have, and they had, and I'm sure Michigan will have some new things for us as well like that. So I think our guys will be excited. I think that's maybe an edge. I don't know how. They'll be excited to play. They're probably not. Their fans are probably not thinking, "Wow, we're playing East Carolina." Whereas our fans and our players are hearing, "Hey, y'all are going to play Michigan. This is pretty cool." So if anything, hopefully we'll be excited. Maybe we'll be more excited than them if that's possible.
Okay, more from Donnie Kirkpatrick here. He says that the game has changed and that teams use a lot more personnel because it has.
The game has changed so much anyhow because everybody's personnel and things now. It looks like a hockey game out there anyhow. There's side changes or whatever that thing is. So, we have 10 personnel, you have 11 personnel, you have 13 personnel, you have 20 personnel. But now even you have 11 Jari, and you have 11 Juice. You have, okay, I want this personnel, but I want this player in, make sure, or I want to play these two guys, though they may be listed at the same position, because, you're a guard, you're a forward, you're a center, you're an infielder, whatever you are now. It's getting more like that. You're a mid infielder, you know what I'm saying, or you're a pitcher, but you may start, you may not start. Everybody's doing multiple things. The game has got a lot more open, a lot more basketball-like, like that. A lot of guys can bring the ball down the court now, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, we're going to hit these last two here. I think the absolute last cut might be a little long for our segment here, but Donnie K, when asked about has he nailed down the 5 starting offensive linemen?
I think we probably separated up front who's going to play the majority. Coach Mogridge is from the school, and I am too, that we'd like to play more offensive linemen. In the past 4 years since we've been here, it's been, do we have 5 today?
And the best players step up in big moments like the one presented to ECU on Saturday, says Coach Donnie K.
The good players usually come to the top. The bigger the situation, the bigger the game. You know what I'm saying? But we're getting ready to find out because we're going to get tested just like we did last year, though. I mean, North Carolina State proved to be one of the best defenses in the country, throughout the season. And that was after they lost their quarterback. They didn't do much offensively either. They kept putting people down. So we'll have another tough challenge like that. We'd love to be playing at home. You know what I'm saying? I wish we were playing here. We're playing up there, but again, I don't know. Maybe it's going to be a better thing. It'll be fun.
Okay, that is it for today's Pirate Report. It's brought to you by Team Boneyard, ECU's NIL Collective. We're going to take a break, and when we return, following a little bit of an update here, you will hear Jim Szoke, who will join us on the Patrick Johnson Show.
Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport. Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers in Greenville, plus the all-new Tiebreakers in Winterville. Do real burgers better than anybody. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, real burgers at its best.
Everybody loves burgers.
Living easy is the sound of children laughing as you make memories with neighbors and friends. It's the sound of nothing at all. It's the smell of the salt air. Hear the waters against the marsh grass. See the beauty of our coast. Bow Coast, located in Beaufort, North Carolina. Southern Living's best small town.
Just because voice over IP telephones are the latest technology in the telephone world doesn't mean they're the right choice for you and your business. Whether your internet provider is unable to support a voice over IP phone system, or you don't have a need for high-tech features and simply want to stick with a traditional system, Spain Telecom is here to help. Spain Telecom offers a variety of services to keep your business connected and competitive. We're confident we can find the right phone system for you and your business, a system that addresses all your communication needs. Looking for a new phone system that won't break the bank? In addition to new systems, Spain Telecom also offers gently used systems that are in great shape and can save you money. No matter your needs, Spain Telecom has a solution for you. Whether it's voice over IP, on-premise systems, new or used, give us a call at 252-353-2006 and let Spain Telecom help you with your communications needs.
Pizza? Ooh.
Yes. All pineapple.
No.
What's wrong with pineapple on pizza?
I only eat pizza with pizza things.
That makes sense. Pineapple is a pizza thing. Also makes sense.
Is it though?
This tastes great.
That we agree on.
Let's agree to agree. Pepsi Zero Sugar tastes great.
Can't you just pick off the pineapple?
Always a good time whenever we have Jim Szoke as a member of the program. Szoke, how's it going?
Doing well. You sound louder today for some reason.
Well, I'm enthusiastic. I think I'm adequately caffeined up, and I think that might be part of it today. The great Jim Szoke from the plus, I'm controlling the audio today, so that probably helps a little bit, too.
It was as if you were yelling. I didn't know if you were just yelling or if you were just that excited that football season is fun.
I think it's a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B there. I think, there's clouds, and I'm an angry old man, so I got to yell at them. So that's part of it.
There's a lot of clouds. A lot of clouds this week.
Yes, there are a lot of clouds.
Big, fast-moving clouds.
Yes. The great Jim Szoke with us here today on the Patrick Johnson Show. We are inside. Well, we're actually a little closer to 36 hours. We're 40 some odd hours away from kickoff in Ann Arbor, Michigan, between East Carolina and number 2 ranked Michigan in the preseason. The great Jim Szoke will be there as part of the ECU Sports Network this year as the play-by-play man for Pirate football this season. Szoke also with the Carolina Panthers radio network. He gets a reprieve this Labor Day weekend from some of those duties. He'll be back on Panther Talk Monday. You'll hear that at 7 o'clock on our sister station, 103.7 WTIB. All right, Szoke, let's start with the Panthers. NFL cut day yesterday. A lot of Pirate Nations excited because Keaton Mitchell, the speedster, made the final roster with the Ravens.
Ravens, yeah.
Yeah, which was pretty good. He had some electrifying runs in the preseason. As far as the Carolina Panthers, nothing real surprising, I would say, for what they did. I guess maybe not surprising, but just a little curious that you signed Deion Jones 1 month and then you ditch him the next.
Yeah, and that's that whole performance-based thing. I think Deion Jones, was a higher draft pick with Atlanta. Made the Pro Bowl 1 year as a backup, and then it's kind of like diminishing returns. Last year, he was started out with Atlanta, went to Cleveland. Cleveland didn't retain him after the season. The Panthers bring him in and let him go, obviously, as you said. So, again, not that, his career is, completely headed in one direction, but he does need to, if he wants to keep it going, kind of pick it up a little bit. And I think someone like, Camus Grugier-Hill stepped up and had a really nice training camp, who's brought in as a, late 20s guy. I think he's 29 years old, brought in for special teams. He will be, but, he had like 4 interceptions down in Spartanburg, one of them in the joint practice sessions with the Jets down there. So he made plays and he stood out. He did some things to kind of impact this team in a positive way. So I think, some guys, earned roster spots there. And that's kind of what is cool about having a new coaching staff. Even though they brought him in, it's kind of one of their guys. If they saw something better that could help the team out better, they didn't, nobody was like, granted anything as far as just having that opportunity. And someone like Chandler Wooten was a guy that they liked a little bit better. So they kept him, and he's been around the league for a little bit, and now he's got a chance to be on the 53-man roster. So I think it came down to, Jones or Wooten kind of for that last spot.
So in the 5 years we've been doing this show, and we've had you on a lot of those times, you've been good enough to join us. The theme to me with the Panthers, no matter whether the season was an abysmal disaster or there was a ray of hope or what was going on in Carolina, the end of the Riverboat Ron era, regardless of what was going on, there always seems to be not enough offensive linemen in Charlotte to play. So I'm just, again, I don't even know if this rises to curiosity, just maybe a little slight eyebrow raise that they ditched the tackle Cameron Irving because he had played a little bit.
Yeah, Michael Jordan's kind of the same boat. These are guys are veterans. In the case of Irving, he was a first-round pick out of Florida State like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
But he's bounced around at all the different offensive line positions, a number of different teams. But he's just never settled in as a starter, so his value kind of became like the guy that'd be your 6th, 7th guy as offensive lineman that could be a spot starter for you and give you some depth. I think they decided to make that more like, well, let's build with some of the guys. Cade Mays was a draft pick last year. Nat Jensen, one of the undrafted free agents that they brought in. So I think there were certain things they liked in other ones that maybe they do like a higher upside, and they're younger, maybe less injury prone, that kind of stuff. So I think they're just kind of looking in that direction of well, let's try this, and that they could always. And I would not hold out. By the way, I expect them to probably add another veteran offensive lineman.
Right.
Once we see, they're sifting through the cut down list from yesterday. Wouldn't surprise me if a move isn't made to add to that. But, Ricky Lee was another one who's like a young guy that they like his raw talent and potential. And I think they're afraid of putting them on the practice squad that somebody else might take them. So that's kind of where they are right now. But it wouldn't surprise me if they don't add a veteran.
Jim Szoke, Carolina Panthers Radio Network, and the interim ECU play-by-play voice on football on radio this year on the ECU Sports Network. Jim, with Matt Corral, it was interesting. There was some talk that he might have been waived. He was on the 53-man, and then all of a sudden yesterday, right before our show, word got out that he had been waived. If he clears waivers, reportedly he'll be signed to the practice squad. So what can we make of Matt Corral's future in Charlotte?
With him, he didn't get to play. He had a redshirt year last year. He got hurt in the first preseason game.
Yeah.
3rd-round draft pick. Scott Fitterer was there for that, but a different coach. But I think they're not quite sure what they have, but they like the progress they've seen with Matt Corral, and with the rule being different where you can have an active third quarterback. If a better option appears for that role of being the third quarterback behind Bryce and behind Andy Dalton, I think, they'll look at that. But I think they kind of, I think they were pleased with the progress. Not a finished product, but again, he's just not had a lot of on-the-field reps. You can talk about mental reps all you want, but he had a whole year of them last year with a foot injury, shaking off the rust, and got to play in these 3 preseason games, and I think he did okay. So I think they're kind of intrigued, and he's athletic. He's got a good arm, so he's got a lot of the tools. So I think they kind of want to work with him some more.
Jim Szoke with us here on the Patrick Johnson Show. Let's talk Pirates now, Szoke. So you've called and been a part of high-profile broadcasts, big college games, couple Super Bowls. The Big House, I know you're pumped to go there.
Yeah, I've never done a game there. So I went to college at Bowling Green State University in Ohio. So I already begin with, that school up north in Michigan and all that stuff, being from Ohio. But when I was at Bowling Green, it was like an hour 15 from Ann Arbor. So I think we made 2 road trips up there and kicked around town, saw the stadium from the outside. But this will be my first in the stadium game day experience, as I'm sure it is for a lot of ECU fans, because why would you be there when they've never met before in program history? But I think it's going to be a fun bucket list game to go to. Obviously, a huge profile playing the number 2 team. So I love major college football. This is a big-time game. So if you're going to get a bit of a gauge for what the 2023 season looks like, let's do it. Let's go up there and see what ECU's got. I think it's going to be fun.
Before we delve into the your impressions of the Pirates, as we're talking to Jim Szoke here, give me an idea, Jim, on what stands out to you about Michigan, because there's a lot of areas you could point to and say they're really talented here. But is there any one area that you really think Michigan's going to be exceptional in?
Well, and we know they've got the 2 great running backs. That's probably the first thing you think about is Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards. But to me, it's the 2 lines. It's the offensive and defensive line. And especially if you want to even pare it down, the 2 guards, Trevor Keegan and Zach Zinner, that's got to be the best tandem in college football. And these are all guys that are going to be somewhere in the draft. And then they bring in from the transfer portal Miles Hinton and Drake Nugent, the center, both out of Stanford, to go with Carson Barnhart. I mean, just that offensive line is just a classic, what you expect. And the other story there is, the last 2 years, they've been voted the best offensive line with the Joe Moore Award in college football the last 2 years. They might win that 3 years in a row. So you begin with that offensive line that makes J.J. McCarthy, makes the running backs better. And then you flip it over to the other side on the defensive line, and it's just more of the same. I mean, obviously they're Michigan and they're loaded and they're talented, but beginning with Chris Jenkins up front, I mean, that's probably a first-round draft pick next year. So they're built inside out, kind of classic Big Ten, big-time Michigan football. The way they build it there is old school, and it begins not only with those two lines, but then, Patrick, they work against each other in practice in a lot of settings. There's ones and twos, and you mix and match. But there are times when that offensive line is making that defensive line better and this and that, and they probably, in both cases, outside of maybe the Ohio State or Penn State game, aren't going to see anything comparable outside of what they see in practice during the week. So that's what makes them so good.
Szoke, I'm not so sure how, Jim Harbaugh being out in this game will impact things, maybe unless it's close, as both Steve Logan and Doug Martin kind of put it eloquently last week. The coordinators would be the most excited about Harbaugh not being available. Or the head coach not being available in a normal situation, because as they joke, the head coach wouldn't be meddling in play calling on game day. Now, Sharon Moore out for Michigan. I think that may have a little more impact than maybe the Harbaugh missing in this game. Am I on to anything there, or not really?
Yeah, and I've seen it work both ways, because we've all lived through COVID, so we all know there were various levels of coaches, sometimes head coach, assistant coaches that were out during COVID, and teams had to kind of put a staff together on the fly. So everybody's had probably, I don't know what Michigan's situation was during the COVID year, but everybody to some degree got nicked up by that as far as a coach that would have to sit out here and there. But Kirk Campbell is known as a guy that likes to pass the ball, but I don't know, just because you put a different person in there, that Jim Harbaugh and Sharon Moore are going to take their hands off the wheel of what they were. Last year they were 61-39 as far as run versus pass. So they're a running team first. Now, they've talked about they want to be more pass and be more unpredictable, more balanced this year. I don't know that they'll want to reveal all of that necessarily in this first game, in these first three games, when they don't have their head coach, Jim Harbaugh. But Campbell does have a little bit of a passing preference, so we'll see if that indicates something or not. But as we all know, these coaches are all there all week. So both Harbaugh and Moore are there all week, Monday through Friday with the practices and all that stuff. So what they practice is what they're going to do on Saturday. So that'll all be taken care of. And wouldn't surprise me to a large degree, Patrick, if it's not like the old Bill Walsh script the first 20, 25 plays like they used to do with the 49ers back in the day. Mm-hmm. There may be a certain amount of that just to kind of keep it simple. And then, you adjust a little bit situationally, but they may script out a lot of it saying this is our template, and when needed, we'll down in distance, we'll change things up a little bit. But I don't think he's going to have a lot of autonomy as far as changing what they would do normally.
Jim Szoke, you'll hear him on this station and 107.9 WNCT starting at 11 Saturday morning with the pregame program for ECU and Michigan. Andrew Baves will join him on the call of that one from the Big House. The entire crew will be there. Our coverage begins at 9 on Saturday morning on 94.3 The Game and the IBX Media app with our Busch Light Pirate Game Day Countdown. It's Terrence Copper, the former NFL vet and Pirate great. And Joe Sampson will be joining me in studio for all of the pregame fun and festivities, the pregame jokes, as they say in the business, because that's what these pregame shows on TV are. So just ha-ha fests. That's what they are.
Chuckleheads.
Yes.
Chuckleheads.
Yeah, chuckleheads. Well, an apt description, certainly for me. All right, so Pirates, what are you looking forward to seeing with East Carolina? What intrigues you the most about the Pirates going into the matchup?
Only everything, right? So you start offensively with a new quarterback, and then it's interesting. You talked about Keaton Mitchell, and that's the most to me high profile as far as what he actually did last year, along with Holton Ahlers. But making the Baltimore Ravens, that might be the most secure position on the team. I mean, they truly go 5 deep with the return of Rajay Harris. And when I was out there and talked to Coach Mike Houston, I know he said it in press conferences as well. I mean, he's using the term 100%. So there's nothing holding back with Rajay Harris. Marlon Gunn, Gerald Green, and from Georgia Southern, Javius Bond. He told me he's a little bit ahead of where Keaton Mitchell was at that point of his freshman year, which is a pretty high compliment. and then Kamara Edmonds coming on board from UNC. So it's like you've got 5 deep, and you can't play all 5. So that's a good, nice problem to have and great depth. So I think running will be strong, and I think Mason Garcia may run the ball more too, just because of his physicality. 6'5", he's got speed, he's got the big arm, but quarterback draws and things like that. Wouldn't be surprised to see him out there, using his feet a little bit, not put him in peril, but have that opportunity. Probably the biggest question mark is just what that offensive line exactly is going to look like with some, guys dinged up in the moment here. Like, what will that 5 look like? Where will they line up? So I think there's a little bit about just some intrigue about, in what way they'll line up and who's 6, who's 7 for now. But I think the receivers just need opportunities. I think, you had the 2,000-yard guys last year, but now it's time for Josiah Hatfield, for Keelan Robinson, Jalen Johnson to do even more, Shane Calhoun at the tight end position. So to me, it's like it's their time. They've earned it, and now they get to step up into the roles that some of the guys that we've been talking about from 2022. I think for 2023, they're talented. They just need to get that game experience and show what they can do now.
We're talking to Jim Szoke here. Pirates defensively, with Blake Harrell and the amount of players that ECU plans to play Saturday on the defensive side, I think that is a real underrated facet of the Pirates. Really good up front. Some questions at linebacker. I think there are some questions at spots in the secondary, but when we talk about long and athletic and fast, a lot of guys on the ECU defense come to mind.
Yeah, and you've got, as you said, Blake Harrell talking about 60 minutes of hell, borrowing from the 40 minutes of hell that Nolan Richardson used to unleash with Arkansas basketball. And to do that, to your point, you've got to have depth and rotational guys. And I think there's depth on both sides of the ball, but defensively, I think they feel like they're deep enough to go 2-3 deep and be able to rotate guys in and have them be multiple at positions, so they're a little bit more unpredictable. But yeah, obviously last year the biggest difficulty was stopping the pass. They were good against the run, not as much against the pass. But ironically, 2 of their best players are in the secondary, Julius Wood in particular, and Tegan Wilkes, 2 safeties. So yeah, you got some length back there, especially with Julius Wood. And I know they love what Siobhan Rollo's done in terms of his improvement this offseason. So that's going to come in there. You mentioned linebacker, the improvement of Taylor Jackson. I think they're excited about that. What will Ra Dilworth bring from North Carolina with B.J. Davis there? And then you move into that front 4, and Jeremy Lewis should be primed for another big year with Chad Stevens at the other side and the 2 tackles with Deontay and Elijah. So I think they're going to be solid. And again, there's that depth, and there's some intriguing players that maybe we don't talk about so much in the Michigan game, but moving down the road, someone like Sam Danka with his 6'6" height and what he can do dropping into coverage, mucking things up in pass lanes, getting after the quarterback a little bit. It's going to be fun to watch the development of some of these guys getting opportunities.
Jim Szoke with us here. Jim, when you're building an anatomy of a game where you're a prohibited underdog coming in, what are the things you think the Pirates will need to do in order to play Michigan tough and put themselves in a position possibly to really put a scare into the Wolverines or maybe more?
Well, and of course, we mentioned they had a very, veteran crew in a lot of ways last year, beginning with Holton Ahlers, but that ability to not turn the ball over. I mean, to lead the NCAA, lose 2 fumbles all year, turn the ball over 7 times all year, 0 turnovers last 7 games. Don't beat yourself. Don't give up the pick sixes. Don't give up the easy things. Don't get penalized a bunch. Things that you control. We here at the Panthers, they call it things that don't take talent. So it's like TNT. You just need to not do things wrong that don't take talent. When you're just thinking, mentally, what are the things, false starts, things that get outside of the cerebral. And then secondly, just play ECU solid football. What you've been working on is, trying to do a scout team of Michigan, but you can't really replicate that talent. So what you have to do is play your best version of ECU sound football. Do the things that you do well. Do your assignments. We always say you do your 1 out of 11 on the offensive and defensive side. It just takes one guy breaking down to send a whole play out of whack. So just do your one job, and then collectively the rest of it will come together. And don't try to do too much. I mean, don't overreact. Don't try to overstretch a gap if you're a defender, things like that. So I think that's the best thing they can do is just play good, solid ECU football. And that will keep you in a game like this. I would say something like this. Being realistic, get through the first quarter. through halftime.
Right.
Keep it in range. Keep it close. See, John Fox used to do this with the Panthers when he used to love to run the ball. Shorten the game, shorten the clock. Get to the second half, get to the third quarter, and try to steal that game in the fourth quarter. So just as long as you can hang in it, you got that puncher's chance, and you're on the road in a tough place. But I think that's probably the formula in a kind of a broader sense.
Hey, Szoke, safe travels from Charlotte in and up to Michigan and back, and then back to the Queen City. It's going to be I hope you've got a car that has really good tires and mileage, gas mileage on it, Szoke, because you're going to be putting some on there.
It's a tank, it's a tank. It'll get through the storm and the weather and all that stuff. I got me a Toyota FJ Cruiser with almost 300,000 miles on it, which may sound like it's a clunker, but this thing's going to run to like 500,000 miles. So I think it's going to run for forever. But anyways, appreciate it, Patrick. Looking forward to having a great call, working with the guys, having a lot of fun up there, and then getting back there for the home opener versus Marshall, get to experience an ECU football game and that crowd. But a couple exciting weeks coming up.
We'll talk to you next week, Szoke.
All right, Patrick. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. There he is, Jim Szoke. We're taking a timeout, and when we come back, we will wrap things up on the Patrick Johnson Show.
Fifth Street Hardware is the home of the $9 lunch special Tuesday through Fridays. $9 specials every day, including the famous Burger Day on Tuesdays, Flatbread Pizza Wednesday, the famous Fifth Street Hardware Reuben on Thursday, and fried fish or shrimp on Friday. Plus trivia on Wednesday nights and live music every Thursday nights. And the Prime Rib Brunch Buffet has returned on Sundays. You heard that right. The Brunch Buffet with all the great items, including prime rib. Fifth Street Hardware in downtown Greenville.
Tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
You can't name a lot of things that I didn't do. Stacking paper like a book, not a Kindle. You outdated, I'm the one they getting into, and I ain't break a sweat. Let's get it, 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 let's get it. Child, please, I don't need a child, please.
Are you game day ready? Anson Belt, the official belt of ECU Athletics.
Are you ready for a digital hair color revolution? The Color Master Factory by Chi and LG. A masterpiece of innovation, unlimited color formulations, limitless possibilities. Long-lasting color. Chi.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human, about creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
And now, the stunning conclusion of the show. It's the P-Man here on 94.3 The Game.
All right, thanks to Jim Szoke today. Great job by our crew to get that audio turned around quickly. We'll hear from Coach Houston tomorrow, and we'll also have Andrew Bays on the program. So join us on the video stream again if you're so inclined. Want to zone out from work before the holiday weekend, you can do that. We'll be on around 10 tomorrow morning on the video streams, and then the show, of course, at 5 o'clock tomorrow. Rose football tomorrow night, so we've got you covered there. Steve Logan show, and we've also got that at 5 o'clock. We'll be here at 6 on the radio side, and then Rose football at 7. Thanks to Philip the Ref Pilkington. Thanks to Jim Szoke, and see you in the morning on Talk of the Town, and back here at 5 on the Patrick Johnson Show.
Proud to partner with the ECU Pirates, and now you can enjoy Pirates Brew, the official craft beer of ECU Athletics. Pirates Brew is a carefully curated light beer that embodies the spirit of ECU, a refreshing and easy drinking light beer. Pirates Brew by R&D Brewing is available now at grocery stores, local retailers, and at ECU athletic events.
Head over to your favorite store and enjoy a nice Pirates Brew today, or else you'll walk the plank. Hand me another Pirates Brew. Arr.
Fifth Street Hardware is the home of the $9 lunch special Tuesday through Fridays. $9 specials every day, including the famous Burger Day on Tuesdays, Flatbread Pizza Wednesday, the famous Fifth Street Hardware Reuben on Thursday, and fried fish or shrimp on Friday. Plus trivia on Wednesday nights and live music every Thursday nights. And the Prime Rib Brunch Buffet has returned on Sundays. You heard that right. The Brunch Buffet with all the great items, including prime rib. Fifth Street Hardware in downtown Greenville.
Storm season is approaching. North Carolina weather can damage your roof, and before long, a small leak can turn into a big problem. Your home is one of your biggest investments, so protect it with Wells Home Improvements.
We work with all insurance companies for a hassle-free roof installation experience. Call us today and get 10% off your roof installation when you mention this commercial.
252-227-8403 or visit us online at wellshomeimprovements.com. Wells Home Improvements. Local, honest, dependable.
Living easy is the sound of children laughing as you make memories with neighbors and friends. It's the sound of nothing at all. It's the smell of the salt air. Hear the waters against the marsh grass. See the beauty of our coast. Bow Coast, located in Beaufort, North Carolina. Southern Living's best small town.
Just because voice over IP telephones are the latest technology in the telephone world doesn't mean they're the right choice for you and your business. Whether your internet provider is unable to support a voice over IP phone system, or you don't have a need for high-tech features and simply want to stick with a traditional system, Spain Telecom is here to help. Spain Telecom offers a variety of services to keep your business connected and competitive. We're confident we can find the right phone system for you and your business, a system that addresses all your communication needs. Looking for a new phone system that won't break the bank? In addition to new systems, Spain Telecom also offers gently used systems that are in great shape and can save you money. No matter your needs, Spain Telecom has a solution for you. Whether it's voice over IP, on-premise systems, new or used, give us a call at 252-353-2006 and let Spain Telecom help you with your communications needs.